Welcome to the 702 Gaming Podcast, episode number 10.
Oh my God, we made it.
I know,
We
I wasn't
made it.
sure.
No,
Last episode, I was not sure.
and it took a whole episode. All right. Now we're like, we made it. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and we do have some life coming up for all three of us, for Jacob, Jason, and Josh. We have work coming up, a lot of different things as the pandemic sort of eases up, but not really. We just want to let you guys know that we've been pumping out the content and we plan on keep it coming, but it'll be like on a weekly thing, but
Yeah.
just keep an eye out. Maybe it won't be as often, but we'll definitely get something out each week.
Oh yeah.
We have
Good.
some content lined up and
Got
already
it.
in the works.
Got a couple things in the bank for you guys. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll keep it coming. Jason, I want to ask you, do you enjoy watching people play video games? Like streaming or competitions? Do you enjoy sitting and watching someone else play?
Um, I do, not as much as I think other people do. I think you and I'm a bit older than you, but we kind of grew up in that generation where one, everything wasn't multiplayer. So you had to, it was couch. You're sitting on the couch, I'm sitting on the couch, I'm playing, you're watching me, trying to help me get through whatever it is. And oh, I died. No, I said two guys, and then it's your turn. All right. So growing
You
up
always
in
hit him
that,
with that, yeah.
yeah, I'd be like, no, those weren't the rules. Those weren't the rules. So growing up like that, yeah, so I definitely I like it, but it also depends on the type of game. Certain games I can't not just sit there. Like honestly, watching first person shooters, just watching that doesn't really do too much for me. If I know the person and he's like, hey, check out this crazy, kill spree or something that I went on, yeah, I'll watch it. But just logging on to Twitch and typing in Call of Duty and just sitting there like this, like,
Right.
yeah, that's not for me. Like if I'm watching, like I'm a big Resident Evil fan,
Hmm.
so if I'm watching someone play one of the Resident Evils that I'm currently playing, I'll watch them up to the part where I am. I never watch all the way through, because I want to know what's going on there myself,
Yeah,
right?
and you don't want any spoilers
Yeah,
for
like
your own
I'm
playthrough.
definitely a non-spoiler type of guy. I'll tell you right now, I still haven't seen the last Avengers movie.
Mm.
Like I'm when hype is going for something, I just fall back and then I enjoy it later.
Yeah.
So I apply the same thing with
So your
gaming.
expectations aren't too high when you go into it.
Exactly.
There's nothing worse than, yeah, everything is super hyped up. You go in and you're like, that wasn't as good as everyone said.
Right.
But if you
Or
go in with no expectation and you're like, hey, that was a decent movie.
yes, it was
Yeah.
great. I enjoyed it for what it was. Or I I don't know what this would be like, but I would hate to go into a film or a video game. I couldn't imagine, paying $70 for a game and playing through it like, yeah, this is all the things people said was going to happen.
Right.
Or hey, this is that one part
Yep.
that I saw Jake play. This
Yeah.
is it. So I already know how to get through it. Like, yeah, it's a little weird
Yeah.
to me. So, but
You're right, though.
it's
We
cool though.
grew up, yeah, taking turns watching each other play, but that did feel different than just watching a Twitch stream because I do feel like it's very spoilery if you watch it on Twitch, where
Yeah,
if you're with a friend and you're both playing it, you're both experiencing it together. Feels
right.
a lot better than just watching someone else play it.
Yes.
Um,
How about the
I
experience?
I could say the same. I'm not super into watching people, but as I mentioned on one of my past uh, podcasts, was Michael Lewis on Twitch.
Hmm.
He is worth watching. He's hilarious, not just because, well, mainly not because of the gameplay that he's playing. He is just a funny, entertaining guy.
There you go.
So
Yeah. That's
that,
yeah, that's different.
yeah, I'm watching for him, not really for the games. The games are side content, and he's
Hmm.
not really playing stuff that I feel like is spoiling anything for me.
Hmm.
Um, he, I do think that like scary games are good to watch other people play,
Right.
especially if it's a game you don't plan on playing. It's fun to watch someone else get scared.
That, like that's a yes and no for me. because I feel like, like anyone who knows me knows like horror movies is my thing.
Hmm.
So as a big horror fan, I feel like I can almost tell when someone's faking the scares, you know?
Okay.
I will say when it's like a horror game in VR, I feel like that is a little more realistic because I'm a big VR guy. And
Hmm.
yeah, some of those have me taking the headset off, like, oh gosh, I need to get out of that world for a second. Uh, but
Yeah, shout
certain,
out to my friends in Oregon when I was up there with them.
mm,
Uh, man, they had me playing some scary games in VR. Ooh,
nice. It's such a cool experience.
as soon as they
It's
put
different.
those headphones in, oh,
Right, right. Yeah, the headphones,
it
like
was a
the
cool
immersion,
experience.
right? The
Yeah,
immersion is like, oh my God, now I really feel like I'm there.
now you're
So
there. Yeah.
I believe you said that your son is playing Half-Life Alyx, right?
Yes.
Okay, so and I still haven't beat it yet, just based on time restraints, but the immersive nature of that game, it really feels like you are in this world.
Yeah.
And I was playing it with just these at first until I got a good set of, headphones.
Mhm.
It was like night and day,
Yeah.
night and day. And I'm sitting there
As
like,
soon
I
as we
wish you
put in the
guys could
headphones, yeah.
experience this out there in your world.
Well, and VR is a good example of so when of not liking watching someone play it, but you want to play it yourself.
Right,
So when someone's playing on Oculus, if you're listening and you haven't played on it, you can tap into what they're seeing and hearing on your TV or on your mobile device, and you're watching them actually play through it.
right.
The experience of that versus putting the headset on and having the earbuds in is vastly different where
Yes.
usually people are in line to wait to like when they come over and they want to play the Oculus, and if they haven't played it yet they're watching on the phone, wow, he's doing this, he's, why is he so scared? But then as soon as they put that on their face,
Completely different story, right?
completely different. All of a sudden you're the person that's in danger,
Yes,
and
yes.
it's a lot scarier,
Yeah,
or the game is just a lot more fun because you see everything in 3D and everything where you're watching it on a phone and it's just all plain looking. So I
yeah.
would definitely say watching someone in VR is fun to watch their reactions, but it doesn't give you that gameplay excitement that when you put the headset on gives
No,
you.
it definitely doesn't. I mean, watching it on a flat screen, or as opposed to being inside of the world,
Hmm.
it's like, man, like there's the Resident Evil 7 that they did, that they released on PlayStation VR.
Hmm.
So mad they didn't do that on PC VR. I would love to play a Resident Evil game in VR. Now they are re-releasing for like I think the 20th time, Resident Evil 4. I don't know
Oh
how many
yeah.
different versions of Resident Evil 4 have been released, but they are going to do a VR version of that, and I'm amped for that. But
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 is where it changed from being scary to more
It's
action oriented,
action. Yeah, it
you
was very
know.
action game, right?
Yeah,
Isn't
and
that the one with the helicopters and you're jumping? It's
so
like very
that
actiony.
that one, when you get to 5 and 6, 5, you've got Chris Redfield punching boulders. Anyone who
Hmm.
knows, Resident Evil, when you're like, this guy punching a boulder over, it's like next level steroids that he's doing, but just like action through the roof. And
Yeah.
yeah, 6 is probably the worst offender of that, but 4 started the whole thing. So a legit Resident Evil, like 7, I think is a great scary game. So to do that in VR for you PSVR guys, you're lucky. I don't think you have
Yeah,
a
I
lot
would
of
like to
good.
try that in VR because I played that on Series X
Mm.
because it's on Game Pass.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. But so that Resident Evil, it's 7, right?
Yeah.
Where you go into the family's house and
Yes.
you're looking for your girlfriend.
Yep.
Uh, Let me just say, I could only play that game about 40 minutes at a time before I was too anxious and I had to log off. That game is
It's
great,
great, right?
but man, when your girlfriend turned around and gave you those eyes,
Yeah.
whoa,
She's, I mean, the game is older now, so I don't mind saying, but you're losing hands to her and she's like hacking into you. You're just like, what's going on right now? I came to rescue you. Like that game
yeah,
is amazing.
And I
That's
played it
amazing.
later on. I didn't hear about it. I didn't know what the game was really about. I was thinking Resident Evil, so I was thinking zombies and whatnot.
Right.
I think it ties in near the end, right? With
I haven't beat it yet.
okay, me
Yeah.
neither. I should probably hop back in and finish it because I would like to play the newest Village.
Hey, I didn't like that one.
Oh, you did play through that one?
I played about 4 hours into it, and
Okay.
or whatever the Steam rebate cutoff is.
Okay,
Because
right.
yeah, I wasn't feeling it at all.
Okay. Well, you like more the horror version, and I think
Yeah,
7 is more horror where Village goes a little bit more actiony, right?
I mean it felt actiony. It also that one was almost like it was kind of hard to avoid the spoilers, so I
Mm.
stepped back from it completely. Once I started playing it, the big thing for me was I just didn't think it looked very good at all. And it was supposed to be this amazing looking game, and I didn't think it looked very well. I think the controls were like super staticky to me. And even like I have a pretty nice rig here, and like why does this look like this right now?
You're expecting a lot
I
more out of
expected
it.
so much from the game. And I still think the best Resident Evil game in recent memory is the remake of Part 2. Just a
I haven't
phenomenal
played
game.
those remakes, but
They're really good, man.
I mean, visually they look amazing.
The
I've
games
seen
are
videos
great.
and everything.
I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
about Part 3. The remake of that one is but um,
Okay. Might
yeah,
have to try those out.
really good games.
Cool. As far as watching people play, one game that I was actually always able to sit there and just watch for hours was Evolve before it came out.
This
Yeah, I
guy.
keep going back to Evolve, I know, but that was a game
Ah,
I watched all the competitions. I watched people just stream it when there was no competitions going. I
right,
would just have it playing in the background at work, and I just enjoyed the 1 versus 4,
right.
and it's just really fun to watch. Usually to watch the monster try and evade and get away and grow big enough and
Hmm.
evolve, and then to fight them at the end. That was just a great game for me to watch. Besides that, I don't really have a game that I like to watch. I've tried to watch Overwatch before and Gears, and like you said, the shooters just don't do it for me.
Yeah,
I just feel like while I watch someone play a shooter, I just like hand me the controller and let me play.
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And unless I'm watching, and as a big single player guy, and not even necessarily a big single player guy, just a story driven video gamer.
Yeah.
So when I like to watch multiplayer, it's just like, you're just quick scoping for 8 hours anyway. So
Yeah.
that's
You're
just
wiggling back and forth and doing
right.
some
That's
shady stuff
it's
to
not
get your
very
headshots.
not very interesting to me. Like I did watch a guy one time in Unreal, I think it was Unreal 2013, I think it was. I watched him for like an hour just camp out as a sniper, and just, it was so frustrating for everyone. And I watched it because I'm like, someone's got to be able to get him. I don't
Yeah.
know how he found this spot that is just unobtainable for anyone else, but every single time he just like, bow, headshot, 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 headshot. I'm like, this is so frustrating. It was frustrating watching the guy do it, knowing that no one could stop. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
something like that. I mean, that was kind of fun, I suppose. But yeah, no, I'm not. I like a game that has a story to it. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch you play through the story and then go and buy it myself because I know it already.
And I think me and you are in the minority. I think there's a lot of people that like to watch. I
Yeah.
mean, that's why Twitch is so
Yeah.
popular.
The
And that's
platforms,
cool.
right?
Like we aren't bashing on anyone that likes to watch
Yeah.
gameplay. And I think it's especially cool for someone that isn't going to play that specific game. Like I've jumped on Twitch to watch people play God of War, Uncharted, games that I didn't have access to at the time.
Right.
And since I didn't have access, it wasn't really a spoiler because I wasn't going to play through it myself.
Right.
But I thought they looked like awesome games and I just wanted to see the story for myself.
Yeah.
So
I could see that.
people that hop on there and do that, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't think anything's wrong with that.
No.
Some of my fonder gaming memories are uh like my sister watching me play. Like that was a thing that we did growing up, you know.
Yep.
And having a child, like my daughter growing up would watch me play and she would give me pointers on how to get through games, which is super cute.
Yeah.
Um, like the Resident Evil remake, we beat that together. She's on the
Cool.
couch, I'm on the couch. I'm trying to get through this. I'm like, okay, I don't understand this puzzle. Like, where are those pieces at? Oh, it's back. It was the other room in the mansion. Like, oh, okay. So you can definitely enjoy aspects of it. But for me to watch, sometimes I watch speed running, I guess, because that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
that's
crazy.
very crazy.
Yeah, I don't have the wherewithal to pull that off.
Like
Like,
someone dedicated a whole lot of their time
yeah, man.
to beat a game and not to enjoy the game.
No, like you don't care about anything other than the time. Like there was a point in my adolescence where I kind of was getting into that. It wasn't called speedrunning at the time, but Double Dragon 2 on the Nintendo, I beat it solo and I'm like, I bet I could beat it faster than that. And I'd play it again and beat it faster. And I'm like, I bet I could do it faster than. I got to a point where I could beat it in about 25 minutes. And I was like, dude, I beat an entire game that fast. I wonder if I can ever, go faster than that. And then I discovered life. It was like, I
I
can't,
can't
yeah, I can't,
dedicate
I
my whole
can't do
life to
that.
Double Dragon
Yeah, I
2.
can't do that. There's already a part three out. What am I doing? Super Nintendo's coming. I'm wasting my time. So
Did you happen to see the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo that the Coalition posted on
I did.
Xbox?
I did.
So they did two. There was one that was just a tech demo on sort of a walking down a hallway looking at this kind of, what is that, like an obelisk type
Yeah.
thing? And a door starts to like magically open and stuff. It's trying to show you the effects, right? There's
Yeah. The particle
dust in
effects are
the
crazy.
air. Yeah,
Yeah.
the particle. That's what I noticed right away
Right.
too. You can see the ray tracing
Hmm.
bouncing off of the shiny object that you're looking at. And it's all real time, but it's not a game. When a game comes out, it's definitely going to be different.
That's the thing. Right. That's the thing. I love the Unreal engines.
Yeah.
Remember, was it Battlefield EA Frostbite engine? Like,
Hmm.
this is gonna
Yeah.
look amazing. I was like, whoa, I was
Oh
blown away by those
my
tech demos
gosh.
until you played the game and you're like, oh, well, the game runs at 2 frames a second.
Yeah. Or like
So,
the Division One when they showed that, or
oh,
Anthem for that matter.
I was going
Jeez.
there. Oh boy, was I
I
going there.
figured it would get there. But I mean, you're looking at these games that just like the Division One was insane looking with
Yes.
the snow piling up on the ground and
Yeah.
just like I was blown away
Blown away.
and then I played it and I was like, huh,
Yeah.
it just looks kind of regular to me.
Yeah. I was wondering where that part of the game was.
Yeah,
Like,
I
is
was
that a day
looking.
one patch?
I couldn't find it.
No one has found it yet. So,
I mean, they've done that with like Watch Dogs and there's
yeah,
a bunch of different games that have
Watch
done that
Dogs
where
is
they
a
show
big
off this
one.
amazing stuff. I do have faith in the coalition to create something amazing with Unreal Engine 5 on these next gen consoles though,
Okay.
because their record has shown that they don't just show off pretty stuff and then put out something. They don't really even, besides tech demos, I don't see a whole lot of like, look how pretty our game is. Um,
Yeah, I
like
agree with that.
Hive Busters update on the newest on Gears 5. I mean, they did like a trailer for it and then it was like, boom, it's out. I tried it on the Series X and
Hmm.
still I think that is the most beautiful game on the Series X.
Well,
It is truly amazing on a console what you're seeing on Hive Busters, and that came out right when at the beginning of
as it
this
started,
generation.
right?
Yeah, so if they have a new, um, the Unreal Engine 5 that they're jumping from 4 to 5, and then they're also got these new consoles, I think they could do something really amazing.
I think so too. But I will say, first gen games that come out for consoles, sometimes those are the best looking titles, period, for the console generation on that specific like I mean, God of War, I think, is probably the best looking game that I've played. Excuse me, on the PlayStation 4. but the what was it called? The Order, I think it is.
Yeah, I
It's one of
remember
the
that
first.
game.
Okay, so the Order, man, that game, even right now, it is a phenomenal looking like pile of turds. The game is so bad. It's so bad. But
Wow.
man, it is a beautiful looking
It's a
game.
good looking turd though.
Yeah, it is. It's like you're like, "Whoa, I made that. That I did that? What did I eat to create that?" Right? But the game itself though, to be one of the very first titles out the blocks, great looking game. And they fooled you with that also with the trailer, where the trailer was like, "Oh my gosh, dude, there's werewolves everywhere." And it was supposed to be co-op, I do believe. I'm 90% sure it was supposed to be co-op initially. And this is going to be an amazing title. And it released and they're like, just kidding. Hey, maybe later. Or maybe
Right.
never for any of those
Yeah,
things. So
right.
yeah, it was the trailer was almost like a tech demo.
Yeah.
So that's why I try
Well,
not
on
to
a game
get
like that, do you feel like it was at least worth playing through just for the visual eye candy? At least?
not at all. I beat that
Oh.
game because I was mad. About halfway through, I was like, this is not a game at all. It doesn't feel like a game. The story is kind of like nothing. Again, I'm still mad that it's not co-op like it was supposed to be. The weapons were just, they were so bland. They didn't even sound good. If you have
Mm,
a game that has guns in it, when you finally get to utilize these weapons, you should feel powerful with them.
yeah. Yeah.
You don't feel that at all. The werewolves, the bosses and stuff, like it was just bad. It was such a downgrade that as I was progressing through, I got madder and madder. I'm like, I'm just gonna beat it, just say I did. I think I actually gave it away to someone who had just got a PlayStation 4. I'm like, oh, I don't have any games. Hey, I got something for you.
Yeah.
Remember where you got it from, but
Enjoy.
yeah, enjoy yourself. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sucker.
yeah. You probably move on to another system after you play this. But I do think though, with what we're seeing graphically, that those are the type of things that justify a new console purchase. And although it's not all about the eye candy of a game, especially, I mean, obviously I'm a retro guy, so I can go and play Burger Time, and which I've actually been doing recently. And I'm like, hey,
Nice.
this game is it's fun. This is really weird
I
that this
love
game is
that
this
game, dude.
fun, right? So it's not about how it looks necessarily. The fun factor should always outweigh the aesthetics.
Yeah.
But if we can get those aesthetics, and realistically, I feel like we're still missing. Like we've never quite hit that jump where your game looks like the trailer.
Right.
So
Still haven't. No.
we haven't, right? But
Yeah.
this Unreal Engine, that demo that I saw, if games couldn't look like that, I would
Yeah.
be blown away.
Yeah. Me
Absolutely
too.
blown away. So hopefully,
I'm excited. Yeah, hopefully something will. I mean, just Gears 5, even now to this day, when you turn it on your Series X, it is a beautiful sight to see.
yeah, when I got Game Pass, that was the reason was that game and the pirate game, where I got eaten by the shark. Hey, you were there.
Sea of Thieves. Yeah. I
um,
remember.
when I downloaded Gears and set all my settings as high as I could go, I'm like, one, I want to test my system. That's a PC guy thing. Let's turn everything up. I want to
See if
turn the
it lights
system
on
on.
fire.
Yeah, and I want the
Yeah.
lights in the house to boom.
You had a fire extinguisher at the ready.
Well, I mean, it's all liquid cooled, so I'm like, I want that liquid
Oh, nice.
boiling. So,
Okay.
um, cranked everything up. Make sure HDR is on and all that. That is an amazing looking game. The colors in the game.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not a big Gears guy only because I'm not an Xbox guy, but I love games like that.
Yeah. And
Okay.
it's got the co-op that you like and
Yes.
everything. Yeah.
Well, from what I see, in my opinion, this is a more colorful Gears, where the other Gears games feel very gritty and dark and that dystopian
Yeah.
future type of thing, which I love that.
So
But
actually, it's funny you say that. When you beat, I think it's Gears 5, when you beat it, it unlocks color palettes that you can change and replay. So there's like black and white, there's
Hmm.
different ones, but one of them is like Gears 1 color palette, and they're very much bland and
Look at
things like that. So you
see,
can
look at
make it
that.
look like the old games. It's kind of cool.
I
But
love how they look
so
for all of them.
the colors, like you're saying, Hive Busters, maybe me and you will have to play through that co-op.
Okay.
Uh it's not a real long campaign, but it's really fun. And the colors are what amaze me the most is because you're on this island and you know how Gears is usually like very building city heavy.
Right.
And when it has gone into the forest, it's dark and it's nighttime and it's scaring you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this one, you're on a tropical island, and so it's bright and colorful, and
Hmm.
um, volcanoes start erupting. And so now you got
Nice.
lava flowing all around you. You're on the lava while you're
Okay.
fighting people, and it's very
Okay.
pretty.
Yeah, I would be interested in that. And
Yeah.
again, it's not that it has to be, but it is, to me, it's cool when a gaming series, like Gears has been going for a long time. Like
Hmm.
I have the original on PC, and man, I think I got that in like
I think it's
two,
2006, I
just gonna
think,
say, I think it
is the
was
first one.
2007 when it ported over to
Yeah.
the PC. So it was like a
Yeah,
year
and they
late.
added the Brumac fight
Yes.
to
So
PC.
yeah, I
Ooh,
thought that was awesome.
that was
Right.
so cool.
I remember playing through it like, whoa, this is what all those Xbox guys think is so awesome. I think it's awesome. So, um, but I do like when a series is willing to uh, keep maybe some of the core mechanics, but then switch it up. You know, like we
And
talked about,
evolve and go forward.
right? Not
Yeah.
like the game Evolve, but oh, sorry,
Oh,
I said that
dang.
into the mic. Um,
Ouch.
it's kind of like what I said about Super Mario Brothers and then Super Mario Brothers 2. So I like
Yeah.
that they're like willing to
Yeah.
let's take a chance on it and see. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but
Well, I mean, so there's 5 Gears of War games in the main lineup, but there's also Gears Tactics,
hmm,
which is a
that's an
tactical
RTS, right?
game.
Okay.
It's a not real-time strategy, but it's like a I don't I don't know what those are called where it's turn-based,
Okay.
turn-based strategy game.
Okay.
Um and so they did that, which I loved that game. I played
Mhm.
through the whole thing. It's awesome. And that's probably the second best looking game, honestly, on the Series X is Gears Tactics.
Nice.
Um, and then they did Gears of War Judgment, which was kind of a spin-off with some of the characters. And so so that means there's seven games so far.
How many?
Oh, and if you count the mobile game, there's
I was
8.
just about to
Yeah.
ask you two questions. One, how many Halo games are there as the Xbox guy? And what do you think about a handheld from Xbox and having those type of games on a handheld?
Well, so from what I understand, the Steam Deck, if you can
Yes.
install the Game Pass app on there, you'll be able
Yeah.
to play your Game Pass
I'm
PC
excited.
games on it.
I'm
Yeah.
excited for
So,
that.
um, and that's cool because you could play for sure. You could play the cloud-based gaming, but then you have the latency and stuff. So, if you can get the app downloaded,
Mm,
it's actually installed onto your handheld. Um, but that would be something that I'm going to look into when I get the Steam Deck.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Um, as far as Halo games, there is 5 numbered Halo games. There's 2 real-time strategy Halos. There's Halo Reach, Halo ODST. There's at least one twin stick shooter Halo on mobile and on Xbox and PC.
this guy is an Xbox guy. Look at
And is
this.
there another one?
I don't know. This is
Am I
impressive.
missing any?
Maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So how many is that? There's like
Wow.
8 or 9 Halos.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that
Yeah.
doesn't make me feel
And
so bad
Halo
about Street
Infinite.
Fighter.
Right, exactly. And Halo Infinite's the next one coming out, so we'll see how that one is.
Wow. That's a lot in a series. And I mean, I've played two Halos before, one and two.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't. necessarily like them because I felt like it was very Unreal-esque, just kind of like with a story, I guess. I remember when they're like, "Oh, there's vehicles in Halo." Like, as you know, I was coming from PC, so I was like, "You guys are just getting us." Oh,
Dang.
okay, yeah, like with Battlefield, yeah, you can fly, planes. Like,
Right.
duh, like,
Yeah.
who doesn't fly planes? But
Yeah.
yeah, that's a lot for a series. It's a lot for a series. Do you think, not necessarily Halo, because I kind of feel like I know just from a lot of people that I know that are Xbox guys and are Halo fans. Do you think with Gears that it has diminished as far as not the quality, maybe like aesthetically speaking, how it looks, but do you think the games have gotten less fun over time? Like it's not the
Um,
same good game that you enjoyed.
a little bit. It's and my opinion on that isn't that they've ruined the game or anything. I think it's just different than what I fell in love with. And when they add too much to a game, too many new ideas, and they keep them all in there and they just keep it going. It's not like, Gears 4 did this thing really well, Gears 5 does something else, but they roll over every new idea that they've introduced to the
Hmm.
series into the next game. It kind of clutters it for me.
Like idea
I'll give you an
overload.
example. Yeah, I'll give you an example. Gears 1, the campaign is just amazing.
Hmm.
It's very simple though. The battles are very simple. Most of the time you're shotgunning or lancering each other,
Right.
and it's just tactics on how do I get behind them in cover? How do I get over here? There's hardly any variations of weapons. You have like the torque bow and the boom shot, but besides that, you got an awesome story, good graphics for the time, really good graphics.
Hmm.
And then when you hop over to the co-op, or sorry, you could do co-op, but then you hop over to the versus matches, it was very simple maps and it was very simple weapon setups. And so I could play that over and over and over, right? Shotgun battles, sniper battles, whatever.
Right.
But then you get to part 2, and I think it was 2 that they added horde mode,
Right.
co-op, waves of characters. Loved it because it was the same style of simple combat, but just where it was overwhelming odds and you just saw how long you could survive. Loved it.
Right.
Once you get, I think 3 was good as well, but then once it kind of goes past that and Judgment, they changed the control scheme, which didn't work for me at all.
Mm.
Still had a good story, but they just kind of tried to make it more arcade-ish. I didn't like that. And then they started introducing all this new stuff with horde modes, and now instead of just surviving, you're building things, you're building turrets, you're laying down barbed wire.
I
Like, I
wouldn't
don't
do
want
that.
to save up money in
No, I wouldn't
horde
do
mode to
that.
build a bit like this. What is this, like
Right.
Minecraft? Like, come on. I don't need to build my whole setup. I
Right.
want to find a cool spot,
Hmm.
and that was part of the fun originally. Was this spot worked well, let's try a different spot on the
Right.
map and
Right.
try and hold off there. And only between waves are you able to reposition. You're like, this isn't working out for us, guys, we gotta
Right.
go. So you had to deal with that wave before you can move.
Mm.
Now it's like, what you're worried about is running around and you collect money that drops out of the guys as you take them out. Yeah, why is a locust,
I was gonna
they don't
ask.
even have pockets,
Yeah, I
they
was
don't
gonna.
they don't have pants. How did he just drop his money?
They should have pants though. I don't know what you're
Where are they
playing.
carrying their money?
And why are
That's
you picking it up? Like, if I see you don't have pockets and you drop something, I'm probably cool, right? I might point to it and say, "Bro, I'm not touching it though. I don't know where'd you stuff that." Not cool
oh
on that.
man.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
I understand that though. Like sometimes you can add a mechanic that maybe you thought was good, and maybe it was. And then when you do a different iteration of the game, you don't necessarily need to keep everything.
Yeah.
Like I definitely think you can have idea overload on games.
Even weapon overload. I mean, it's cool to have a variety, but when every map, to satisfy the fan of every weapon, every map has the torque bow, the sniper, the boom shot, the
Mm,
buzz saw, the every kind of grenade. And it's like, yeah, they have it to where it kind of switches out and everything, but it's just too many weapons. It strategically becomes annoying to me because I like knowing, okay, they have these weapons, I have these weapons, let's go
Mhm.
fight. And it'll be based on skill, not I ran up and I found the boom shot first.
Right.
I
That's
don't like that.
perfect. That's a perfect way to say that, because that is the issue with, to me, a lot of multiplayer shooters is, well, they got the thing, whatever the thing is, so we are automatically at a deficit.
Yeah.
So what do we do now? Now, sure, there's a strategy, I suppose, in learning how to get around whatever the thing is, but the fact that there's a thing
Yeah.
and all you got to do
I
is get
can't
that.
just run across the map and go fight someone. I have to sneak the whole way across because I know someone picked up that, that one weapon that just decimates you.
That's
And
not,
so you're
yeah.
being careful all the way across. And then when you finally get into a good battle, his teammates behind you with that weapon and one shot, you're gone. It
No.
just, that takes away a lot from me. Sometimes there's modes on there that are like the classic modes and stuff. So I like to play those. Um, but especially I feel like Horde mode, they kind of went a little overboard on that. I really enjoyed Horde mode originally, and I still like it, but I don't like doing the whole saving up money and stuff because I'm the
It's
type of
weird.
person that's kind of OCD where if there's money out there on the field that they dropped out their butt or
Yeah.
wherever they're carrying it,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, I got to collect every single one. So instead of playing and having fun, I'm sitting there thinking I have to have every single dollar they dropped
Right. Every one of the butt
and
coins.
go deposit it back. I don't even spend the money when I play Horde. I let the teammates spend the money. I just go out there and I collect, and it's like, why am I playing this?
See, yeah. No, 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 no. I mean, I've played enough horde modes in games, and I mean, I don't know. To me, it's weird. Like, that is a really popular mode in games. I do enjoy it. Like, Left 4 Dead. They essentially, I mean, it's called survival, but it's the same
Yeah,
thing, right?
yeah,
And as a crew, we used to play those, and it was a lot of fun. Exactly what you're saying. Like, okay, we know they're coming. This is how we set up this time. Hopefully, we survive it. And okay, we're not. If one of us survives this, then we'll try to resurrect, however many we
yeah.
can. And I agree. I enjoy that. But if the zombies are dropping zombie bucks, Z bucks, or what, like, that's weird. That's weird.
And I
That's not
think they
something you
get that
need.
kind of style from Call of Duty Zombies, actually.
Hmm.
I played the newest Call of Duty zombie, mode not that
Hmm.
long ago because they had a free weekend on Xbox. So I hopped on there. Graphics are great. Gameplay, Call of Duty's play smooth.
Yeah.
Um, but right away I was like, oh, here we go again, where I got to collect money. I got to buy like
Yeah.
more wood to, slap up on these windows.
Why are
If I
you?
want a good weapon, I got to save up my money.
That's
And
weird.
and then I just got bored. I was like, this isn't cool. I
Yeah.
just want to I want to if I'm going to run around the map and look for something, I want it to be bullets, just more ammunition. Even if my gun runs out, I got to drop the gun and I got to go pick up another gun that an enemy dropped
Right.
to get more weapon ammo. I'm cool with that. Yeah, I don't want to build.
So I feel like that reminds me of Payday. What I think
Yeah.
was awesome about Payday is, yet this is the building, and we start off in this building. We know the cops are coming. We have to do this one thing,
And it
and
turns into a horde mode
exactly, like, all of a sudden,
once those alarms are set.
once the alarms
Yeah.
go off, someone didn't get one camera, and you're like, oh man, I thought you had that. That was your hallway.
Yeah, we're like, thanks, Kyle.
Right. Like, what are you doing? Right.
Yeah.
So now we just have to try to survive, but there's still the element of we actually got to beat the level though.
Yeah.
So it is horde mode, like, right away, like you said. But, like, to me, that's fun. And yes, you can go and find some wood to try to put up on a couple of the windows, but eventually they're gonna come in. So what
Yeah.
are we gonna do here? Like, that's a really good horde mode, I guess, to me.
Yeah.
But you're also humans who are bank robbers, so it makes sense to pick up money. I don't know what kind of currency the locusts
Yeah,
have,
and
but
that money is more interesting to me because you take it back to your like
exactly,
all
to
the
the
money
hideout.
you have to carry it to your van and
Right,
escape with it, and then at the end is where you guys all count up your money and
right.
you're like, okay,
What
I
did
can
we
buy more
get?
weapons
Oh
and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
how much did we
yeah.
get? Let's do this now. So
Not in mid battle, you put So on Gears 5, there's this machine you put down and you put your money that dropped out of the locust butt,
Mm,
uh, or hive butt, I guess, because
mm,
locusts are evolved or something.
nice.
You take all this money and you put it into this machine, and then the machine gives you stuff that you build out of it, and it's just, anyways.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh, I would really like it if they either did something totally different, which they did do in Gears Judgment, which I actually had fun on. They had a horde mode on there where, yes, the humans I think still did build their barbed wire and things to slow the locust horde down, but the locust horde, like
Mm,
the main things attacking, were human players. So like I could
mm,
play as the centipede thing going up and electrocuting someone, or I could play as a boomer coming in with a boom shot. That was
that's
interesting to
cool.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
that's
cool.
cool.
They haven't brought that back, but I did like that.
Well, I mean, I guess you can't have it all. I'm complaining that sometimes they throw too many things in, right? But then you end up with one that you really like, and they're like, "Ah, we're just kidding."
Yeah, I know.
That one's out though.
Which is all right. I'm glad that I got to play through it on that, and then, you know, think of something new. Coalition on the next Gears, please.
You think we're at a point though where
They've
I don't
been
want
trying to go a different route with the story.
to.
I mean, they brought Marcus and all those guys back, but they're like old men now,
Yeah,
which is cool. I like it.
I like Marcus Phoenix.
Yeah,
He
I
just
don't
looks
care for the
awesome.
new cast of characters.
Mm.
They're all um, a little bit boring. They don't have the art style of the original characters where they're all, that
Their
Macho Man,
faces are like all
just
scarred, and you're
ripped.
like, "Whoa,
Yes.
man!"
Like they lived a rough life.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's not a future you want to be a part of. Not just because I think those things eat you, but
Yeah.
apparently mankind is those guys are like 8 feet tall, like the people,
Yeah. I know.
right? And the locusts are way bigger than them. So I was
I mean, they're
thinking
carrying guns that no human would be able to shoot.
at all, at
Yeah.
all. So yeah, there's a
Like, have
certain
you seen the replicas of the weapons in that game?
yeah.
Like,
You're like, so I'm glad this is made of foam, right? Because in
yeah.
real life, if this had ammo or something, like, what am I doing with this?
Yeah.
Just yeah. There's hey, everyone who works out, there's a point where you don't want to get that big.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, let's chill out on the human growth there.
Yeah. Hey, okay, so in gaming, what's something we know that gaming can get toxic,
Yeah,
especially, online gaming and um, just the communication between players can
yeah,
be very toxic online.
it can be.
And I think we let some of that slide as gamers, something that you probably would never allow in a person to person conversation. We kind of let it slip, or we allow it in
Yes, you
games.
keep saying we. Like, don't group me into your band of villains.
What do
That
you
I
allow?
know. Like, whoa. Um. So yeah, that's kind of an unfortunate part of our interactive hobby is the toxicity. Like for those of us who were around in the beginning of online gaming, like I always say, it was like the wild, wild west back then. Was it worse back then? I want to say yes, just because it was new, and you're like, wow, like people are really like this. Reality, yeah, people are really like that, and it's because of the anonymity of the internet. Where I'm my avatar. I'm not really like that. Yeah, you are. So,
Yeah.
um, so I
It
think
allows them to act however they want to act and know that there's not going to be any real repercussions.
right, there's no real consequences to it.
Yeah.
So, um, I think I kind of feel like online gaming is the alcohol of our hobby. And I say that as someone who's like, I've never drank before. And like people that know me know, like I'm complete clean freak. So what people always say is that alcohol just kind of enhances who you really are. Okay. So I believe that is kind of unfortunately what online gaming has done. is it lets people really be that person, you know. But I also feel like that's kind of the easy out, is to use online gaming and the toxicity that it is. That's one thing that we allow. I would say, as a person, like, people are people. I love everybody. So yeah, I don't care gender or any of that stuff. People. I love good
Mhm.
people. I think that one thing we allow, because gaming is male dominated, and I know, growing up, there weren't very many females that played video games that I ever saw. And then going into tournaments and stuff, I never saw that at all. So, kind of the sexualization of females in games, I think that's something that we allow, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, I was a big Chun Li guy in Street Fighter, and if I'm being honest, it's because I'm like, oh, she's hot, and now I'm like, what? It's a sprite, bro. What are you doing? Um, I think
Well, yeah, what
that's
was that fighting game? Was it Dead or Alive that was just every girl was just
yeah. There's Dead or Alive
they focused all
volleyball.
their animation on like
Yeah,
jiggling.
I think it's the beach edition or
Oh
volleyball
yeah.
edition, where
They're all in
just
bikinis
they're all in
and
bikinis, and it's just a weird camera swirl around them constantly, and they're just
yeah.
like, everything they say, they're like, oh my god, boom, boom, boom. Like, it was like, what what's happening right now? What is happening
Yeah.
right now? So that's something, as a husband, as a father, and I have a daughter. So realistically, I wouldn't have played any game. I wouldn't have played those games anyway. But I wouldn't have played it around my daughter because it's
Hmm.
weird, right? And I feel like if I had a son, I would not want to play that around him either, because he's either going to be like, yeah, and I'd be like, whoa, what the heck? Are you becoming a perv? Or he's going to be like, my dad's gross. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
It's yeah, lose
that
lose.
that's not. I don't think that's something we can get away from. Bayonetta, I think
Yeah.
she's pretty BA, and that's cool, right?
Hmm.
But I mean, look at her.
Yeah.
Now, I know there are female gamers that are like, I like that. Like, she is confident. She's everything she wants to be. She dresses that way because she wants to, right? And hey, that may be how you feel about it. So maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but for me, I'm like, I'm pretty sure a guy designed that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. Like, think about how Laura
It's to
Croft was.
draw it's the art style and everything. It's to draw in, like you said, it's male dominated, so let's draw in these guys that want to look at that, you know.
Right.
It kind of reminds me of TV series, like say on HBO or um, one of these things where they're allowed to show nudity. And
Hmm.
so you get like Game of Thrones. Season 1 and 2 is just jam packed with nudity because they
Yeah.
know that's drawing this crowd in
Right.
that
Right.
wants to see that, and then they're hooked.
Right.
And then after season 1 and 2, they're like, the actors and actresses are like, I ain't showing nothing else.
I'm
You know,
done.
what are you gonna replace me? And so there's not as much in those later seasons. And same with like Westworld and stuff. It's like very heavy on that
Yeah,
because they
Westworld really
want to
was.
draw them in.
Yeah. I will say Westworld, though, when I first started watching that, I watched it because I loved the original with Yul Brynner. I thought that, like, it actually, that scared me as a kid. I was just like, oh my gosh, like, those,
The
they look just like
faces were
people,
coming off, and
right?
yeah,
And I mean, anyone who's ever seen that, or if you haven't seen it, just look at it for the time that it was done. You're like, these are amazing practical effects here. But yeah, when I started watching it, it's got great actors in it, so I'm like, all right, let's check this out. And I'm like, this is, I see a lot of people, but in other things, right? Like, this
yeah,
is, it's almost so, like, in your face, and gaming is not as egregious, I think,
yes, right.
but at the same
Because they
time,
can't be, I
they
think.
can't be. Now,
I think that's why. I think if they were given a little bit of leeway there, I think they'd shoot right for it.
well, I mean, there are, especially in VR, anyone who has VR, go to the Steam page for VR and just type in adult.
Oh God.
There's
Oh
stuff where you're
God.
like, why would you want
Oh
that?
my God.
Like,
The
yeah.
VR dark web.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
It's the Juarez of VR. Some some wild stuff there. But Yeah, to me that would be the one. I feel like when you realize that Samus in Metroid is a female, that was an empowering moment to me as a guy, and I was young at the time, but I was like, that is so awesome that that's a girl who's doing that, you know. And I've said this before, but like to be able to use Princess Peach, and that seems so like minor, but it's not minor to everyone.
Yeah.
Like I think that's awesome because she's no longer help me, Mario, save my life. She's like, nah, I can save myself. So it's
I
yeah,
think Overwatch does a really good um, job at that. I mean, at least half, if not more than half, of the characters are female,
it's
and
awesome.
they don't look ridiculous like that,
Hmm.
and they're really cool designs, and you don't think twice about like, oh, I don't want to play that character because it's a female.
Hmm.
No, she's awesome. I love this character because she has these moves and she's a cool character.
Right.
Overwatch does a great job at that. I love it.
That's awesome. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you right now, like I know my nephews, especially my youngest, actually both of them, but definitely the youngest. Shout out to Gamerbug. Um,
What up, Gamer Bug?
he thinks that when he first started really playing games with me, it's like you only pick the girls, and I hadn't really thought about it, but that's who I normally pick. Whether it's like King of Fighters or obviously Street Fighter, or, give me Melina or Katana or Sindel out of Mortal Kombat. Like I love picking the female characters, um, and I think a big part of that is like there's what maybe three or four, right, and the rest
Yeah.
is a bunch of dudes, and it's not like let me pick what there's a little bit of. It's like no, I mean, I personally don't care about stuff like that, but
I think it's kind of cool, especially in a game where you feel like you're the person to play as a character that kind of feels like an underdog or
yeah.
it might be like underestimated,
Hmm.
and then for you to be like, let me show them, that they've underestimated me is
Yes,
such a cool feeling.
that is a great
um
feeling.
the
Yes.
remake trilogy of Tomb Raider, have you played through those?
So I have the newest one on Steam, and that's now everything is good with the new build. But every time I started playing it, something happened with
Oh,
the PC.
you crash or something. Oh, okay,
Yeah, it was
man,
always
that game's
something that
cursed.
I did,
I
but
can't remember if I liked that one as much as the others. I'm sure I did. That
mhm.
was a great trilogy, but especially the first one in that trilogy was just very right off the bat. Laura is just getting jacked. I mean,
So I'm
she gets
yeah,
jacked the whole game.
that I didn't
But
like about it.
oh, I did like it because you come out the other side like she never gives up. She gets
Hmm.
hurt and hurt and hurt, but she never stops. And I like that aspect of it where, yeah, she might not be the most powerful person or as strong as the enemy, but
Hmm.
her will to keep going is what drives her, and it's awesome.
So I will say, you know why that is, right? That you feel that way? Because you and I are both alien guys. You alien, me aliens, right? We
Yeah,
love
what up,
Ripley.
Sigourney?
You know, if you're listening,
Yeah, if you're listening to this, what up?
yeah, like leave a like, Miss Weaver.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we are
like
alien guys.
such big alien guys,
Yeah.
and Terminator. Like I love Sarah Connor's
Yep.
character. Even though she was being hunted down in the first, I mean, she's being hunted down almost all of them, but through impossible odds, she was like, I still have to persevere. And she wasn't like battle born and battle ready in the first one, but she still,
And that's what I liked about
yes,
the Terminator movies is how they built that. That was
yes,
awesome.
yeah. It's all about
Yeah.
empowerment. I'm all about
Yeah.
that. So,
Well, and those movies did it right. Alien movies,
mhm,
the Terminator movies did it right where it wasn't shoehorned in or forced down your throat.
mhm.
You just genuinely thought, wow, this is an awesome lady running the show.
Yeah,
And it's like when she died in Alien, spoiler alert,
right.
she dies.
In case no one saw part three, anyone,
Yeah.
anyone. It's
Yep.
okay if you
She
haven't, by the way.
holds she holds her baby queen in her chest as
It's
she
like
goes into the
hold tighter than
molten.
her true love. So,
um Once she died, it was like, oh, what are we gonna do? Well, now we have to resurrect her because
yeah, there's that.
the movie isn't good without her.
Yeah, it sure
Um,
isn't. It's not aliens without her.
it really isn't. And you look on the opposite side where Disney, one thing I don't like what they're doing is just a lot of shoving it down your throat. And it doesn't, I don't mind that there's these awesome female characters.
Mhm.
I actually love that. But don't make me feel like a bad guy for showing up to your movie
Right,
and
right.
you're like, so like the Captain Marvel movie and movies like that. I
Mhm.
mean, they make it a point in the writing to mention to uh, bash on men and to bring themselves up. That's not the right way to do it. The right way to do it is like those older movies where
Right, like,
it
well,
just is awesome.
so if you take the first Terminator, which is a good example of that, you've got Kyle Reese, and
Hmm.
he's the savior, and he's dead because he couldn't save anything. She saved herself because she's BA, like
Hmm.
she was like, no, I'm not just like help me, like I gotta help myself. And from the get-go, you felt like she was a fighter without her being a fighter, like that. And to me, that's not because she's a female character, because that's people,
Yeah.
like that's all of us. You're not a fighter until you have to fight, and then you learn real quick, how to either save your life, how to defend yourself, whatever it is. That's what I like about, again, those two female characters specifically. And I'm telling you, like, me gravitating towards the female characters in games, it's not necessarily because I feel like they're built to be weak, but I can tell you right now, especially with like the traditional Street Fighter esque type of games, so that's Fatal Furies and um, definitely Fatal Fury is like this, like egregiously so. The female character takes just a little bit of power, just a tiny
Really?
bit, yeah. And Street Fighter kind of did that, where Chun Li's jab doesn't take a lot of power, but her kicks are crazy. And I mean, you look at her character, her legs are so built,
Hmm.
so I like that they were like, she may not have this, but she's got this, and she can hang with anybody. I love that. Anyone who knows how to use katana in Mortal Kombat, or Sindel, or Scarlet, you watch out. Don't go into that thinking, oh, it's one of the weaker characters. Good luck. I
Yeah.
like that.
Like
So,
Jade.
man, yeah, my wife was a Jade player. Like, oh, please put that stupid staff down.
Yeah, it's the
It's
staff.
the staff, man.
Feel
It's the
like
staff.
Donatello.
Yeah, exactly. Horrible, man. Horrible. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That to me, that's the sin that I can think about that we let slide is, as soon as there's a female character, she's introduced and she's like weak. Like, I don't know any weak females in my life. I wasn't raised by a weak female. I don't have weak females that live in my house. Like, that's such a BS, archaic way of thinking. And the obvious thing, being Brown esque, like the Brown characters in the game. I come from a time where, okay, hey, there's a black character in Street Fighter. Oh, it's a boxer. Okay.
He's either a boxer, a DJ, or a rapper.
Exactly.
Like,
Right. And then when Killer Instinct came
oh
out, I'm like, okay,
man.
cool, they got a black character. I'm not gonna just go to the black character. All right. But I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, let me check him out. Oh, he's a boxer. Cool. Okay. And one of them, I think it's his fatality, pulls out a gun, just shoots you down. It's
Of
like, what's
course.
happening right now, right?
Yeah.
So that type of
Wow.
stuff we let slide, and yeah, I'm not a fan of that. So I'm all about inclusion, and I think that we, as gamers, we're part of nerd culture, right?
I
So
think a lot more females play games now in
yeah,
these newer generations than our generation did.
yeah, yeah. It was almost marketed as a guy thing.
Yeah. I never
Yeah.
saw girls in the commercials or games that were even
Geared
kind
towards
of
females.
yeah, geared towards anything they were interested in.
The ones that were obvious girl games. Barbie Adventures on Nintendo.
Right.
So they were gearing that, purposely to what they thought, that demographic was
And
about.
those weren't even good games. That's
But
the
horrible. All of
bad
them.
part. They were just money grabs.
All of them were horrible. So
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of goes back to what I said, hey, video game company, don't tell me that I don't want single player games. Just make a good game and people will play it,
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
think VR is a good introduction for people that don't play video games to kind of get into games, just like the Wii was,
Hmm.
with all the interactive stuff. So many people liked Wii that didn't play video games. They just thought it was so cool to golf or play tennis or whatever.
That was crazy.
Right?
It was
It blew
crazy.
up.
It
It
blew
blew up.
up. How many grandparents like had to have hip replacements because
Yeah.
of the Wii? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dislocations because of that. But no, you're right. It was,
And VR is similar to where someone that doesn't play games puts it on and they get it more than just playing on a controller and on their TV. They kind of get what they need to do and they
yeah.
have a lot more fun.
I definitely, set up my VR here and had, the two VR headsets, had my nephews playing like scary games together. And, we're all just watching them, not watching what they're playing, just watching them like, this is hilarious. Right. And then told, my beautiful mother in law, hey, put this on. I just want you to see what we're seeing. And
Yeah.
to watch her, from the outside, I know what she's doing because I've played it already, and she's shooting at stuff, and I'm like, this is awesome, right? This is
Yeah.
awesome. Like you would have never picked up a controller, to
Nope.
play a game like this, but the interactivity, the immersiveness. So I agree with that. It's a great gateway game to get into gaming or system, I
Yeah.
guess. So
Yeah, there's a friend of ours that we went and visited not that long ago that she was never a gamer that I know of ever
mm.
in her life. And when we went over to her house, she's like, "Hey, I have a PlayStation 4 with the VR headset. Do you want to play some games?"
Hey,
Like,
you talking
okay,
to me?
yeah, you play games? I didn't know
Show
you had
me
a system.
first. Yeah.
So we played all night. We played different games, Beat Saber and the Star Wars game on there, and
Wait. Which
it
Star
was really
Wars?
cool.
Is it?
Whatever was on PlayStation 4, I don't know.
See, I'm asking because with the Oculus, you've got the Vader Immortal, where you actually you get to do
Right.
lightsaber duels and
It
stuff.
wasn't that one. Yeah.
Okay, because I really want to do the Squadrons, the flying one. I haven't done that one
Yeah,
yet.
that would be good.
Yeah,
That would be good.
want to nerd out. That's so bad.
I did play Gran Turismo in VR. That was pretty cool. The racing game.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I didn't know that was in VR. I could
Yeah.
not do that. There's no way I could.
No.
No.
I don't know
No.
that it was like the full VR experience. It seemed like it wasn't 3D like Beat Saber and stuff. So
Mm.
I think she said there's some games that aren't designed for it, but you can still play it in VR. So it's not all 3D and everything, but I just like car games,
Okay, I
so
got you.
I
I
tried
got
it
you.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, that no. There's unless I mean I'm not sure with Gran Turismo, but is it third person where you get to see your vehicle or are
You
you
could
all
change
first?
it.
Okay,
You
then
could
I can
change
play
it.
it then.
Yeah.
If it's first person,
That's a
no
no-go.
thank you. No, that's a no-go. That's a no-go. I'm like wrecking the house if I'm doing that. So,
Behind me on my TV, I've had Flight Simulator. It just came out this morning.
mhm.
I have my plane going. I was gonna fly. I flew out of McCarran. I flew over my house. The first time I took off this morning, I ended upside down. So I'm gonna post a picture of that on Twitter. So that was awesome. It's not that easy to fly a plane, I guess.
Crazy,
But
right?
this time I retook off and I flew over the house. I flew over the Black Mountains and I'm headed towards Lake Mead. And I'm in a plane that can land on the water, so I planned on
Oh,
going
nice, nice.
but I have it on autopilot now, like where it balances you and everything. So I'm going. I think I might be in Arizona now.
I feel like you missed it.
I, I
Yeah,
flew way past it,
yeah. You definitely missed Lake Mead there.
so
Whoops.
actually this looks like yeah, I don't know where I'm at. I'm surprised the plane still has fuel.
That's awesome. You put it on eco mode. I'm sure planes have that, right? Maybe they don't. I
It's
hope they don't.
it's an electric plane.
I hope they don't have that because I've been on a few long flights and we're probably in eco mode, and that's frightening now to think about that.
Well, man, we've been all over the place here today.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was good. That
Always
was
good.
episode 10. We gave you a little bit extra time on it.
Did.
Inter-
Yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our rambling on, but um, it's I mean, I think that's one good thing about the chemistry we have. So
Yeah. And if you like what we're talking about or don't like what we're talking about, hit us up in the comments on YouTube or shoot us an email at 702gaming@gmail.com. Let us know if we're doing all right or if there's something you don't want to hear about anymore, if you're just sick of it.
yeah, don't be sick of it, guys. Don't be that guy or girl. Yeah. So we'll be back hopefully I mean, we're gonna be dropping weekly, so you guys look out for those and look out for the retro bites that are coming also.
We're out of here.
All right.